ICE has been given permission to utilize data that has been collected by a company known as Vigilant Solutions. Vigilant Solutions is a company that has collected data on our license plates, and they have been tracking each and every one of us, and that data is very valuable to ICE agents who want to really ramp up their efforts in deporting undocumented immigrants. Now, ICE has officially gained agency-wide access to a nationwide license plate recognition database. So this impacts every single one of us. And the amount of information they have on us because of this license plate tracking is really something that concerns me. It gives the agency access to billions of license plate records and new powers of real-time location tracking. So to give you an idea of how much data there is on our whereabouts and on these license plates, Vigilant Solutions has amassed a database of more than 2 billion license plate photos by ingesting data from partners like vehicle repossession agencies and other private groups. They've also partnered up with local law enforcement agencies, often collecting even more data from camera-equipped police cars. So to give you a sense of how they would track us and how easily they could do so as a result of this new power that they've been given, a historical search would turn up every place a given license plate has been spotted in the last 5 years, a detailed record of the target's movements. The data could be used to find a given subject's residence or even identify associates if a given car is regularly spotted in a specific parking lot. Also, ICE agents can receive instantaneous email alerts whenever a new record of a particular plate is found, a system known internally as a hot list.
Clever name.
Yeah. Just two things jump out about this. One, I always like to focus on the whole amazing infrastructure going back to the Bush administration of all the private companies, that it's like a self-licking ice cream cone. That's another reason why certain tech types actually were interested in Trump. There's a ton of money to be made in contracts related to tracking people. But as being beyond escalating this sort of vicious attack on immigrants, you've had administration officials float even, looking at politicians in sanctuary cities that aren't enforcing these laws supposedly. Church groups are being monitored. So when you talk about the jump from how can this type of massive invasion of all of our civil liberties will start to translate beyond the abuse of immigrants, it's gonna go to civil society that's trying to protect people's rights. And you're gonna see that bridge immediately. And it will also be a self-licking ice cream cone so that even if these things are reformed, these companies are gonna have a whole new gravy train of contracts that came out of the Bush administration with private contractors and forces in Afghanistan and Iraq.
So here's a fun prediction. Almost guarantee that they will track people going to certain churches because certain churches will be hiding undocumented immigrants because
Joel Osteen's probably okay.
Yeah, because the immigrant hunters are coming. But no, that goes exactly to my point. And my prediction is that the right wing won't even care that they're tracking churches.
Nope.
That, for hey, it was one thing when they were tracking mosques, that people were, right wing was ecstatic about that.
Those are terrorists.
Yeah,
right. Now
when it comes to churches, they're tracking which churches you've gone to. They still won't care because they'll think, oh, those are Latino churches or churches that support Latinos.
Right.
It's not going to go. I'm going to Joel Osteen. Nobody's tracking that. I'm going to Copeland. I'm going to people who I'm giving money to so they can buy jets. I'm going to the prosperity gospel guys. I'm an idiot. Nobody needs to track me.
No, this is the federal government.
I love that line. Sorry.
This is the federal government. Not just tracking undocumented immigrants, they're tracking all of us.
Yeah.
They have all this data on where we are, who we associate with, where we work, where we hang out. They have all this data on us. This is the definition of big government. Big brother is watching us. And this is part and parcel of what this country has become, right? You have politicians who fearmonger about disenfranchised groups or politicians who fearmonger about the others, those big scary others. So then everybody is so scared that they give away any and all privacy, any and all freedom that they have because they're, peeing in their pants over honestly non-threats.
Yeah, and to this point is where the Obama critics are dead on because of course, right, he expanded the surveillance state, he expanded the George W. Bush surveillance state.
Codified it.
And codified it, and yeah, it's okay. I would be able to live with it. Maybe I'm a hypocrite. Well, I'm definitely a hypocrite, but I would be able to live with it if I knew that for the rest of time, the Obama guys were going to run it. But that, of course, will never happen. And of course, then look what happened. Look who gets in charge of it. And that's why, hopefully, if there ever is a vaguely progressive person running for office, they'll say the words, one of the things I'm going to do in my first 100 days is massively roll back the surveillance state.
And it's big government, it's big corporate. It's a hybridization.
Yeah,
and it's really important.
To Cenk's point, they'll come after the politician who says that. Of
They
course.
absolutely will. And I think that when I was debating people like a couple years ago saying, oh, Obama does all of these programs, so it's fine, I would say, okay, I don't agree with that, but let's take your premise. And I would try to think of the most insane person that could be elected president, and I didn't quite call this guy.
You didn't come close enough. Yeah.
So, well, let's expand about. First of all, just so you know, the reason they're saying it's agency-wide is because the Obama administration had some portions of ICE already apply this.
Yeah.
So they were already doing this to some degree, and real progressives like us hated it back then, and now they've made it for the entirety of ICE. And by the way, Obama thought about making it for the entirety of ICE, but he got a ton of pushback. So he's like, okay, some parts will do it.
Again, value of who you have at the table. Like it turns out, of course, that matters. But again, we're not gonna have 48 straight years of responsible people at least getting a seat at the table.
Value of who you can push.
Yeah, and this is the main warning we had when Obama was doing all this stuff. Don't open the door, you don't know who comes next. But he kept opening one door after another after another. That was a terrible idea, and including invasions of privacy, drone strikes, etc. So now, to the Republicans and right wing out there, you don't want them tracking your guns. You go nuts over that. By the way, if they're tracking your cars, that means they know where your residence is. That means they know where your guns are. Sometimes you have your guns in your car. They know where they are. Apparently you don't care about yourself or your family. So I'm trying to get you to care about the one thing you care about, guns. So they could also track your guns this way in a sense. And then what happened to the lunatic right wing, which is a significant percentage of the right wing? You thought there was gonna be FEMA camps under Obama. And oh my God, they're gonna put us in FEMA camps. So let's now reverse the argument we've been making. You think Trump is a benign dictator, president. And so you think, no, him spying on all of us, not just the immigrants, they're collecting all of our license plates, right? And they know which parking lot you're going to. Think about the parking lots.
But what about when we have our next Muslim president?
Right, no, that's where I'm going with this. Think about the parking lots you've been in, right-wing guys. Think about the places that you have gone to. So what happens when a progressive president comes in and you and your lunatic mind think that they're gonna set up FEMA camps?
Right.
They will have all of your information, right? Then they could use it against you. If you become a member of the Young Turks, you'll be saying,
you know, I'm like a smart person.
So do it right now, tytnetwork.com/join. Get the whole Young Turks show every day.